Been listening to President Biden speaking in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, at the COP27 UN Climate Summit. He spoke about a lot of things, including the adaptation fund, money set aside to help developing nations deal with the growing climate crisis. CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio is in Egypt. He talked about sort of that fund, but also other promises made. Biden just wrapped up speaking. What new climate initiatives did he announce?
Sure. Well, even before we get into that, I just want to say, looking at President Biden after the midterms, Anne-Marie, and the surprise wins, he is coming off of something akin to a victory lap here. He is in his element. He was very calm. He is talking to people who want the U.S. to succeed in climate action. And looking at the remarks that he made, he got applause after applause after applause. I was writing a couple down. Rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement. Applause. He also took a dig at the former president, President Trump, saying he didn't understand why the U.S. actually got out in the first place. He also said last year in Glasgow, COP26, that the U.S. was able to get 2/3 of the world's GDP to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. More applause there. And one of the biggest applause was when he said the U.S. will meet our emissions targets by 2030. This is something that when President Biden got into office, he said America is back. This is what people want to hear. It gives people, happiness, along with, I'm sure, some spine tingling in there, that he is leading not just the United States, but the country. And to your question, actually, he was saying that there were new initiatives for Africa, for example, $150 million for adaptation to all the climate changes that are happening. Also with a new updated plan for methane reduction in the United States. And also leveraging the power of the United States government itself. $630 billion every year in terms of the money it puts out there to buy things. They're using the leverage of the government to basically say to private vendors, listen, you need to be more sustainable. We will then buy from you, work with you. If not, then we'll go someplace else.
Ramy, as you know, the president also attended a bilateral meeting with Egypt's president this morning. What'd you learn?
Yeah, from what we saw from the media that was publicized and on video, it was about several minutes or so. And at least from what we saw, it was diplomatic. There were smiles. It was fairly civil. There was talk from the Egyptian president about the issue of human rights. Now, a lot of human rights activists are here, or trying to get here, or even criticizing what has been called a COP27, a climate summit that has actually been filtering out a lot of people so that their voices couldn't be heard. But I think perhaps to try to diffuse some of the argument that human rights isn't an issue, that the president of Egypt has said that they're doing some kind of comprehensive plan for human rights. But aside from that, there was no detail at all, which left many of us scratching. What does comprehensive mean? And on the topic of human rights further, there is the sister of a jailed human rights activist outside of Cairo who's been in jail for nearly the past 10 years or so. His sister, Sana Saif, we talked to her earlier today and said that she is here hoping that President Biden will give leverage to try to get him out of prison. She actually flew in from London. She herself said that it's a calculated risk because she's afraid of getting detained herself. So a lot of people are trying to use COP27 to their advantage to try to put the spotlight on, calling on President Biden to do even further.
All right, Ramy, thank you very much.